If God was real, I would not be poor.
You've got a roof over your head. You got the internet even.
Yeah, but I'm still not rich enough.
Why are you able to go to heaven?
Because I guess he took the punishment. But
Good
there's
answer.
like so many people in this world. He can't take everyone's punishment.
Is being gay wrong?
What do you think happens to us after we die?
Nothing. Well, I think we go into another life.
Really? Okay. Do you believe there's a God?
No.
Okay.
No, Haley.
All right. Think of it this way, right? The building you're in. Would you agree that someone had to build your house?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though you may never have seen that person, you still know they're real, right?
Yeah, but God is like a presence. I don't really like think that
What do you
there's
mean? What do you mean God's a presence?
Like God isn't God like he's not a person or like a man in the sky. He's like a presence. Like he's everywhere. Like Santa.
Well, I think it's a little bit different actually than Santa and all that kind of stuff, because like as I said, like you don't need to see the builder to know the builder's real. You just look at the house and say, "Yep, someone had to build that house." Same thing with the universe. We've never actually seen anyone build the universe, but because it had a beginning, it's got to have a creator for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but like I don't know. I just don't like think that God, if God was real, then Bob Ross would be alive.
Okay, but are you saying why doesn't God stop the bad things happening in the world? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but I've heard people say that God can't like reverse like what the people have done. But like if God was real, I would not be poor. So
Well, I'd actually say you're probably richer than majority of people in this world who live on like less than $1 a day.
well, I
You've
just
got a
don't.
roof over your head. You got the internet even.
Yeah, but I'm still not rich enough.
Okay, but lots of people want to be richer. But
God is not real. I don't believe in, nobody's met him, nobody knows him. Somebody wrote the Bible, like somebody handwritten the Bible. I don't believe a man, just a random man told them, write down these words, and then, but like, that just doesn't make sense.
think of it this way. Like I would say, well, what you're trying to say is basically like, look, let's say I'm in a 2-bedroom house. You're like, well, obviously there's no builder for this house because I'm not in a 6-bedroom house. Like, just because you're in a small
No,
house doesn't mean there still has to be a builder for a small house just like a big one. And so there still has to be a creator, whether you're poor or whether you're rich.
yeah, but there's still like somebody wrote the Bible. So a real person in real life. He wrote the Bible not because he saw God, but because he had a psychotic break.
Well, no, not
I
really.
don't.
Have you looked at how like the Bible was written and everything?
No, I don't read the Bible.
Well, then then you're making claims about it. You've never read it.
Yeah, because I I don't want to read it. I don't want to waste my
Yeah.
time on that.
And I think that's more the issue. It's not that you lack evidence or anything of God or whatever. It's that you just don't really want to believe there's a God.
Well, I have believed in God before, like not like religiously, like I wasn't like a Christian or anything, but I believed in that there was a God. But then I was like, well, people build the world. Everybody makes a decision so that other things happen, and like somebody like I say I got suspended from school. Somebody made a decision along the way that got me suspended. Not God. God didn't do that. I did.
Sure, yeah. Our actions will have consequences, absolutely. But just like in your house, who sets the rules in your house?
My mother.
Right, because it's her house, she owns the place, she can tell you what you can and can't do in that house. And I guess the same thing with the universe. We didn't make the universe. And so therefore the one who did made it can set the rules for how he wants us to live our life in his universe. So do you think you're a good person?
Uh, on some occasions, maybe.
Okay. Well, for example, have you ever lied before?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, me too. I've told lies. Have you ever stolen something?
From like a store.
Or even from your parents, brother, sister?
From my friend. Yeah.
Yeah, from friends, yep. Or even this one. Have you ever used bad language before?
Yeah.
So if God was to judge you based on those things, would you be innocent or guilty?
Guilty.
And therefore, do you
So, but
deserve
I don't believe
reward
that
or
this
punishment?
punishment. But I don't believe that I did something. I say yeah. So I got suspended. I did that. Nobody else. That was not God's punishment. That was my fault. So
hmm
I could have made a different decision.
hmm Yeah,
I believe in
absolutely.
karma, maybe. Karma,
'Cause-
maybe. But not God. Because I make my own decisions.
But that's the point, though, is that you make the decisions, but there's going to be a punishment for the wrong decisions you made, right?
Yeah, but no, God can control that. It's based on
No,
who.
that's the thing, is that God's, I guess, allowing you to kind of live, make decisions what you do, but He's keeping track of what you're doing, so that when you die, that's when you get the consequences for your actions.
I don't believe that there should be a man who is able to decide if I get a tattoo, I'm going to hell. Like, I don't think that's like
Just like in
fair or right.
society, there are judges who determine if you've broken the law, they'll send you to prison for breaking the law, right? It's the
Yeah, but
same thing with God.
that's because the government, and that's because like the world. God didn't
Yeah,
make
there's someone
jails.
in
God
charge,
didn't make
right?
rules.
So just like in your house, your mother sets the rules. If you disobey her rules, she could punish you in some way. If you break the
Yeah.
government's rules, they're in charge of the society, they can punish you. If you break God's rules, and because you're in His universe, that's why He can punish you after you die.
Okay, but what makes your religion right and like any other
Yep.
religion wrong?
Good question. And I'll answer that in a second, all right? Because there's a good answer to that one. Now, I deserve punishment too, because I've done things wrong too. But what can we do so that we don't get sent to hell for the wrong things that we have already done?
I don't know, you pray for God's forgiveness.
Okay, praying is good, and asking for forgiveness is good, but that doesn't get rid of what we've done wrong in the past. Just like saying sorry to a judge won't get rid of the crimes that a person's done. What we need is somebody to take our hell punishment on our behalf. But it has to be someone who's lived their entire life perfectly. Do you know of anyone like that?
No.
There's only been one, and that was Jesus. You heard about,
Jesus
you've heard about how He died and came
Jesus
back to life, right?
Okay. Yeah, Jesus who said that though? Who said that? Somebody
Well, the
made that up
historical
in their
accounts,
brain.
no, the historical accounts we have from that time recorded. Even the official Roman historian Tacitus records about the crucifixion of Jesus. Right, it's an
Yeah,
established
I don't
fact,
that
right? But
there was
the
a
reason,
man that was reincarnated and named Jesus.
no, otherwise they would have said that. They
Who
would have said,
decided
"Oh, that's
that
just
that
a
guy was
reincarnation."
Jesus? Who
Well,
decided that he was
because
Jesus?
what do you mean? Who decided that it was Jesus? They,
Okay, so Jesus died. Jesus
yeah.
died. A man named Jesus died.
hmm
And then another man was born. Somebody named that man Jesus. Who did it?
No. 3 days after, he was alive, same age, still got the nail marks where the spear was thrust into his side. Like, it was the same person. The tomb's found empty, all that kind of stuff. But the reason he died was actually to take the punishment that you and me should get in hell. Jesus said He'll take it on the cross for us. So if He takes your hell punishment for you, then where would you go? Heaven or hell?
I guess heaven, but Jesus ain't alive.
But he's willing to do it. He was willing to do it for you 2,000 years ago. Even though you were going to live 2,000 years later, He said He's still willing to take your punishment. And so, if He takes your punishment, you're right, you get to go to heaven. So why can you go to heaven then?
Huh? Wait, why can't I
So
what?
why are you able to go to heaven?
Because I guess he took the punishment, but
Good
there's like
answer.
so many people in this world, he can't take everyone's punishment.
Well, he's offering to take the punishment for anyone's sin. But just like if someone offers you a gift, In order to get that gift, you actually have to take it. You have to accept it from that person. So Jesus offers to take your punishment for you, but you have to accept that from Jesus, and that's simply by trusting that he's already taken the punishment for all of your sins. Does that make sense?
I guess, but that's like manifestation. Like you believe something happened, so it did. But like,
Well, it's accepting that gift from Jesus by trusting, yeah, that's the only thing getting me to heaven. It's not my goodness getting me to heaven anymore. It's only his sacrifice. Right? Now, here's a challenge
I
question,
don't.
though, for you. Let's say you do trust that Jesus paid for your sin today, but then you sin again tomorrow, and you die 2 minutes later. Would you go to heaven or hell?
Hell,
Okay, but what was getting you to heaven again?
Jesus,
And did he die for just your past sins or also your future sins as well?
past
It's actually
sins.
both, past and
Yeah, but
future.
why does hell exist then? If Jesus is gonna take my sins, then
Well,
what?
only if you trust that he paid for your sin will he do it for you. If you don't trust he paid for your sin, you'll have to take your own punishment, and that'll be
Okay,
hell
but
forever.
how do you know this? Did Jesus tell you? Jesus
No,
told somebody and they wrote it down in the Bible.
yeah, you can read it today in the historical accounts we have about Jesus, what he said and what he did. And you can see that Jesus proved himself to be true by all the miracles that he did and so on. But my big question for you would be this, because in that answer then, if you believe Jesus died for your sin, you sin again tomorrow and die 2 minutes later, where do you go, heaven or hell?
I don't know.
Remember, if he pays for your future sin, that would include
Then
the sins you do tomorrow then, right?
I guess heaven then, but I still am wondering what makes your religion more important than
Yep.
others. What makes it true?
Yep. Now I'll answer that. So the reason is this, is that in all the other religions, they don't have anyone willing to take the punishment for their sin. And so if they don't have someone taking their punishment, they'll have to take their own punishment when they die, which means they'll still have to end up in hell. Christianity is literally the only religion that has someone who's willing to bear it on our behalf, pay our fine, so that we can enter heaven and not hell.
Yeah, but what about the religions that don't have a God or Jesus?
But they still
Then
have
that doesn't
they
that
still have a standard of right and wrong, and they still have a punishment for doing the wrong thing. And so therefore, even under their own religion, everyone realizes they've done things wrong in life. And so therefore, they'll still have to get whatever punishment they're going to get, and they've got no solution to stop that. Right?
Yeah, I don't believe this nonsense. I don't believe in God or Jesus because I go off of common sense and not my
What in common sense shows that this is false?
common sense that there is no man in the sky or a presence that is like watching every person on this earth.
But remember, you didn't
That's literally
believe.
Santa.
But remember, you don't believe that there's a builder for the building because you've seen the builder. You believe that there's a builder for that building because you see the building itself. Same thing. You don't have to see God. You just need to see the universe that he's made to realize this universe had to have a creator. That's why we know there's a God.
Yeah, but the creator was the people who built the earth, the actual human beings
No. I'm
who
talking about
built
the
this
entire
earth.
universe. The entire universe, every atom, every molecule, every galaxy that's out there, all of that had a beginning, so it has to have a creator that's beyond this entire universe that made it.
Mother Nature, no God, no Jesus.
No, hold up. Nature had a beginning, so therefore it still has to have a creator for it.
I think not.
And I think,
Why?
but notice then,
understand
it's
why.
not actually common sense that's making you reject this. As I said, it's a love of living life your own way. You don't want a God to tell you that you can't swear, you can't, look at people with lust, you can't just do whatever you want. And that's why you're rejecting God, because you want the freedom to be able to live life your own way.
No, because I don't do anything like wrong. Like I'm not a bad person. So there's literally, I don't understand
Have
why
you lied
I have
though?
to be. I have to. I can lie without going to hell and being punished for my sins.
Why?
because that's not wrong. Just because it's wrong to super conservative people who don't believe you should curse doesn't mean that it's wrong.
Have
Who
you
gets
ever
to decide? Why does God get to decide? I do this wrong. I do this wrong. Like that
have you,
doesn't make any sense.
well, because again, we're in his universe, but do you think you've ever done something you know you shouldn't have done?
Yes, but that's I
Yeah,
know I didn't do it right. Not
right,
God. God doesn't
right.
care
Because
about me.
God's given you a conscience, so that's why you know that certain things you shouldn't do.
No, my brain gave me a conscience. God did not create me. My mother
Yeah,
did. That's how. That's
yeah. Go all the
I.
way back,
God
all the
has
way
nothing
back.
to do with me.
Every
I do not.
atom,
He's not
every
real.
molecule had a beginning, so it's got to have a creator. But that's the point, though, is that you realize that you haven't lived perfectly, just like I realize I haven't lived perfectly either. And even though we might want to think, I'm a good person, I don't deserve punishment. In order to avoid punishment, you got to realize you deserve it first, so that you can accept the gift of Jesus taking your punishment. If you don't admit you deserve punishment, you won't get forgiveness because you don't think you need it.
When okay, I don't think you're gonna change my mind because I am very set on my brain and knowing what is correct and what's wrong. So
Can I
basically, I don't
encourage
think
you
it
though
changes.
to actually
I
look
don't
into
think
the
so.
evidence, we have about the resurrection of Jesus, how we know he's true because he proved himself by coming back to life from the dead, right? And I put it to you though that if you don't really want to look into the evidence, then at least you know you're not rejecting this because of a rational reason or a common sense reason, but because of a selfish reason. You want to live life your own way.
No, I just don't. I don't.
Then are
I
you
have.
willing to actually at least read through a part of the Bible to understand what it's saying?
I don't wanna. I don't want to get a false reality of what is. I don't want to have to think
You're right.
constantly. Oh,
Notice
this is
just
my
then.
sin. I'm gonna go pray to Jesus. Like, no, that is. I don't want my life to be taken over by some man that's not even real.
And that's the thing.
Like
So you've
when you meet God personally in heaven or hell, that is. You let me know. You tell me that you met
no.
God.
You know God's real already, but you're trying to suppress it because, as you just said, I don't want a God to tell me how I should live. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, but I don't believe in a God. I don't know
So what?
God's real because I've never seen him in real life. If I don't see him, it's not
Neither have I
real.
seen the builder of your house, but I still know he's real.
Yeah, but this is a real physical object. God is
Is the
not
universe?
a real
Hold.
physical
The
object.
house is hold on. Remember, the similarity is the house is real. You can see the house. You know there's a builder who you cannot see. You can see the universe, which is physical, right? And so therefore, it shows there's a creator that you cannot see.
Yeah, but the builder of this house is a real person. They lived life.
Yeah, but
They
so
are
what?
real.
The point is,
They have
you've never met
legs
him.
and arms.
You don't know if they're male or female. You don't know what age they built your house at. That you don't know anything about them. They could be from a different country even.
Yeah, well, luckily they're still a real person.
Maybe or they could have died a long time ago. We don't know, right? But either way, you know they're real because there's a house today.
Yeah, but I don't believe in a mystical man who
There's a
has his
universe
presence
here
on this.
today. There's a universe here today.
He ain't real. It was here before everybody lived. This universe was here. This
Yeah,
was here.
but we know it had a beginning.
There was no one person,
Do you realize
one man
we
who
know it had
made
a
this.
beginning though?
Okay, so Jesus was like, let's make a few planets. I mean, God, he was like, let's make these planets. These are the planets. Like, no, he didn't create this planet.
Why?
Like,
Again, you're making just an assertion. Oh, he just didn't make it. He's not real. But I think you're making those assertions without any good reason to say that God's not real.
because it's
Because
common sense. It is common
no.
sense that
Common sense is
there's
not
no
an argument.
mystical man.
Common sense is not an argument, right?
Common sense
Because
is an argument because I know what
no,
people are. I
common
know what
sense means you've actually still got to have a reason to back up why it's true. Someone
common
can say
sense
common
is that
sense is
there are humans and there are materials and there
yeah.
is an earth and there are planets. There is nothing else. No other
Can I ask you
god
then, what's convinced you there's no God?
because literally you want me to believe
that there
No,
is
no, no. I'm
some
asking you. I'm asking you. What
presence.
proof have you found to show that there's absolutely no God?
But I don't need proof.
Yeah.
You need proof. You need
No,
proof
no,
that
no,
there's a
no.
God.
If I
Where's
said
your
to you,
proof? Where's your proof?
listen. If I said to you that your phone had no one who made it, I would have to have proof to tell that to you. Otherwise, it's
Yeah,
just a
but
blind
okay.
assertion.
Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't work that way because these are real physical objects. These are
The
real
universe
things
is a
that
real
have
physical
been
object
made in
as
this
well.
current.
Universe is physical. The phone is physical. If I say that your phone had no one who made it, I would have to have very good evidence to prove that no one made your phone. And if I don't have evidence, then it's simply a blind assertion I'm making.
Okay, say okay. There's a God who made the universe, but you want me to believe that that same God is giving me punishments, giving every other person on this earth who believes in God a punishment, everything. He's sending them to heaven or hell. He decides exactly who goes to heaven and hell. He's a
Yeah.
presence in my life. He's literally in the same room as me.
Well, he's given you air to breathe. He's allowing us to be connected. Out of the 50,000 people on Amigo right now, he's allowed us to be connected. It's no accident. I think God is trying to get your attention
It's
because,
actually randomly shuffled on this app.
yeah, but I could be
So
speaking to anyone, but God has given you the opportunity to hear the way to get to heaven today. So just based on
no,
what you've
because I
heard,
I could have
just
skipped
just
you
wait
as
up,
soon as I
just
saw
wait up,
you.
wait up, just wait up. Based on what you heard me say though, what do you have to do to get to heaven?
You I you, you have to believe in Jesus,
Believe what about him?
that he can take your sins even though he's not like alive.
Well, yeah, he took your sins on the cross 2,000 years ago. So what what you've actually heard from me is actually very good news then. That even though we both have done wrong, we both deserve punishment, God is offering his mercy to you today and saying, I'm willing to take your hell on your behalf so you can go to heaven. Don't you think you should accept that?
I actually don't want to go to heaven because actually when I die, I'm actually gonna go into a different body with the same soul. So
Okay,
that's what's gonna happen.
but why do you think that?
Because that's the only like logical option. Or second option that I also
What's
might believe
logical
in
about it
is
though?
that I die and then nothing happens. I actually is like sleeping. So like you just
So
go.
so my
That's
question is
all.
though, why do you think you go into a new body without actually kind of having any memory of any previous lives, without having any proof for that? But yet the idea of a heaven and hell, you're like, no, it definitely can't be that.
Because the heaven and hell, there's too much nonsense going on with God and Jesus and uh, those two people who
What's the
they're the
nonsense?
first
What are you
people on
talking
this
about?
earth. There's too much that is not believable to me.
Like
It's
what?
not like
What?
exactly what I said before. The presence of God watching over everybody. He's making my decisions. He's
No, no, no.
making sure that you're on this
I didn't
thing
say
with me.
God's
Like it
making
doesn't
your
make sense.
decisions. You make your decisions. You decide, am I going to lie or not lie? Am I going to steal or not steal? God doesn't force you.
Yeah, but God can't punish me. Somebody else on this earth makes that decision to punish me, like my
But
mother. She
sure,
does that, not
yeah.
God.
But if let's say you break one of your mother's rules, at the same time as your mother punishing you, the government can also punish you because you might have not just violated your mother's rules, you could have actually violated the state's laws as well. And that's why two people could punish you for the same action. And so same thing with God. If we've broken some of his laws, when we die, he's going to have to punish us for the bad things that we've done.
God can't control every single person on this earth when they die.
No,
He
he can
cannot
keep
handle all those
track.
people.
He can keep track of everything we're thinking, saying, and doing. If he's powerful enough to make a massive universe, he's powerful enough to know what you're thinking.
No. I don't. Okay, then I'm okay. Then I'm gonna go to hell. I don't care.
You don't want
It's
to end
not
up in
like
hell.
I don't.
Okay, look, I
Girl,
say
what
this, I
happens in
honestly,
hell?
I say this from my heart. Look, I don't want you to go to hell. I want you to go to heaven. Because in hell, you're in torment. You're crying for all eternity. Nothing to make you happy there. Nothing to relieve any of the pain. And I don't want you to miss out on the joys of heaven, which are infinitely better than any of the best joys you might experience here.
No, so I go up to heaven in the sky, and then I
Heaven's
go.
a brand new world. It's a brand new earth that God is making. So you'll get a new body on Judgment Day. You get a new body and live forever on this brand new earth, with no more pain, no more death, no more suffering. So yeah, heaven's not where you're floating around. It's a real, tangible, physical place.
Where is it though?
I can't put it on a map for you. I don't know exactly the
So
exact
it's not real.
coordinates. No,
That's
but
like traveling
that
dimensions.
no
That's
no
like
no.
time
Remember,
travel.
so don't you keep saying it's not real. You're just making the assertion everywhere. But I think you're saying that without any good basis for saying it. And so,
I
at the very
I
least,
am using my
least,
common sense and what
no, no,
I
no, no,
know.
no. The neutral position is not to say it's not real. The neutral position is to say I don't know. I should find out. That's the neutral position.
Yeah, but all you want me to say is that I believe in God. That's all you want. What if
Well,
I
believing in
want to
God
be
won't save you. Believing in God won't save you. You have to trust that Jesus took the punishment for your sin on the cross. That's what will save you.
No.
It's
I
true.
don't
And
have
the thing is,
this
I think, as I
nonsense.
said, the reason why I like the idea of like coming back in a new body is because then you don't really get punished for what you've done wrong. You don't like the idea of a hell because that's punishment.
No, I get punished in real life by real people who
Yep.
exist.
Have you been punished for every bad word you've ever said in your life?
No, because that's not a bad thing. That's just some idiocy made up by some man who decided that you're not allowed to say bad words. You're not allowed to say a conjunction of letters put together, because that's bad. That's bad.
Well, do you think
Like
it's like,
no,
do you think it's good for people to say racist things?
no, but that's
Ah, but it's just a
that's like
conjunction of
a
letters,
moral
apparently. That's
thing.
what you're saying.
No, because that was racism was made in real life. That really happened. Slavery actually happened, so
No,
it's
no, no, but
wrong.
like just say, no, let's just say someone's just being racist in their words. You're just saying it's a conjunction of letters.
Okay, but so what's the like past that is so wrong about curse words?
Well, it's just that whatever your culture determines as unwholesome, then you shouldn't use those language. Would you like if you said some, really inappropriate things to your mother? Your mother wouldn't appreciate that. She'd be like, "What are you doing? Don't say that to me," right? And so we should actually be kind to people, not cruel to them, not saying things that they're going to find offensive, right? That's what it means to be I guess, a decent human being. And
Yeah, but I could say the F word to my best friend and she doesn't care. She's not offended.
she may not, but your mother might be. A judge in a
Yeah, but
court
I'm
of law
not
might
saying
be.
it to my mom.
Well, I guess but that's the thing is that God doesn't want us to use it at any time, so that we can always be known as someone who's actually speaking things that are edifying and not things that are unwholesome. But even things like God is the one who made sex. He made it enjoyable, but he says the right place for it is marriage only. And therefore, any sex outside of marriage or even any sexual desire for someone outside of marriage is also wrong. And so that's the thing is that God is giving us these rules for our good. Just like the road rules.
What is so wrong with that? That's not for my own good. I could do whatever I want.
No,
That is
because
not God's place to decide what I can and can't do.
it's honestly like a child who says, "Look, I should be able to play with a knife because I should just do what I want. I want to play with it." The parent knows if the child plays with a knife, it's going to be dangerous for them, right? So
Yeah,
same thing.
what's so dangerous about getting a tattoo?
Well, I haven't even talked about tattoos. Like I don't.
Yeah, but tattoos is not in the Bible. You can't get tattoos.
No, there's nothing explicitly about tattoos. There was a law for the Israelites; they weren't allowed to mark their body, but there's nothing in the New Testament repeated about tattoos. Um,
Yeah,
I
but
think.
so why? Who made the New Testimony? God?
Oh, so that's what. Yeah, this is God. So basically, God gave some rules that are specific for the Jews, like they had to kind of not eat certain foods. They had to kind of make these kind of sacrifices at different times. There were some specific ones for Israel, but for the general ones for all of humanity contained in the New Testament, which include, don't get drunk, don't lust after someone, don't hate someone, love your neighbor as yourself, be kind to people, generous to them, right? These kind of things. And so God's
Okay, but
rules.
what about the part that says gays burn in hell?
Well, no, it actually says anyone who sins deserves to go to hell. That means it
So
actually says
being gay is a sin.
well,
Being
it says
gay
in
is a sin.
Revelation 21 verse 8, all liars will have their place in the lake of fire. So all liars end up in hell.
So gays are liars? Cause
No. What I'm saying is if you've ever told a lie, then you're a liar. Just like I am. I've told lies, I'm a liar, so therefore we both deserve to go to hell.
okay, but I'm asking about gays.
Yeah. So it also says not only lies, but it says anyone who has sex before marriage, anyone who commits homosexuality, anyone who steals, anyone who dishonors their parents, anyone who does anything bad deserves hell forever. That's all of
So
us.
being gay is bad.
Any sort of sex outside of marriage is wrong,
Okay, but
God says. Between a husband and a
yeah, but
wife, it's wrong.
gay marriage is legal.
Yeah, but how anything outside of marriage between a husband and a wife is wrong, according to God. Right? And so that's why, and it's just like if in your house, if your mum says, look, you're not allowed to have these certain people over, or you're not allowed to do certain things in this room, you're going to say, okay, well, fine, it's your house, mum, I'll respect your rules, even though you might think it inconvenient to you. Same thing. This is not our universe. If this is God's universe, and we're like, oh, that's an interesting rule, we should say, well, it's God's universe, I should respect his rules.
Okay, but I want to know specifically what you think about gay people.
Oh, I care about. I would share the same message with them as I'd share with you, because I care about them. I want them to be saved. In fact, I've talked to
So you want
plenty of gay
them to go
people.
to conversion camps?
No, like what is like a conversion camp isn't going to help. What they need is this message that you're hearing today.
Oh, but I still want to know is being gay wrong?
What's
Is that a
wrong is
sin?
committing any sort of sex outside of a husband and wife in marriage. That is wrong. And so therefore,
So homophobia?
I know people. No, I care about it. In fact, I know many homosexuals, and I care about them. I love them deeply. And actually, the people. In fact, about a week ago, I talked to someone who actually we shared this message with him. He's homosexual, and he's like, "Wow, this is amazing. This is good news. I've never heard this ever before." He then said, "Well, I need to trust that Jesus paid for my sin." And then he himself said, "Well, because I trust that, I now want to start living how God wants me to live."
So
And so,
he's gonna go marry a woman?
no, that doesn't mean marrying a woman's not mean how God have. It means he's like, okay, well, God says I can't have sex outside of a husband and wife in marriage, and so even if he doesn't have sexual desire, even if he has no attraction towards women or whatever, he'll say, "I'll remain celibate then. I'll remain single, if that be the case." Right?
That
Just
is
like
unrealistic. That's literally it's just
not
I
really.
don't
I know
think
people.
that
I know plenty of people who have done the same because they don't want to sin against God. If I talk to a drunkard and I share this message with them, they'll be like, "Well, I don't want to get drunk anymore," and he'll want to control his desires towards alcohol so he doesn't get drunk anymore.
that's literally okay. That is unrealistic. In real life, that is not realistic for them to just like
Anyone can
stop.
control their desires.
That's okay.
Right?
You're
I
you're just
know
literally
people
saying that
who
you
are.
don't want gay people to live their lives.
No. What I'm trying to say is that we want to live our life how God wants us to live, out of gratitude for what He's done for us. Because guess what? God is not only telling them how God wants them to live in the universe, God is telling you you're not allowed to look at people with lust, you're not allowed to swear, you're not allowed to lie, you're not allowed to be angry, hate people, disrespect people. God's telling you how you should live as well. He's telling me how I should live. And fair enough, because this is His universe. But guess what? God is not saying, keep my rules and I'll let you into heaven. He's saying to you, you've broken my rules already. You do deserve hell, but guess what? I'm gonna do the most loving thing for you possible. I'm gonna die on that cross to take your punishment for you so you can be with me in heaven. That is kindness from God, isn't it? It would be like this. It would be literally like if you like say you punched somebody in the face, you broke their nose, but instead of that person charging you and you going to jail, that person says, "Look, I'm going to give you a $10,000 gift as just as a gift to you." You're going to be like, "What? I punched your nose, I broke your nose. You're giving me $10,000 now? How does that make sense?" And that's like what God's done. We deserve his punishment forever, but instead of us sending us to hell, he does the most sacrificial thing for us. Don't reject his kindness.
I will be rejecting his kindness because he ain't here. He ain't telling me I am giving you this. You're telling me that. You're telling me this because you believe it. I don't.
And you can do your research to find out this is actually true. Can I encourage you to do that sooner rather than later? Because this might be the last opportunity that God ever gives you to hear this message.
I can research God whenever. I could research him in 50 years and start.
Do you know when
believing
you're
him,
going to
and
die?
the same thing would happen. Huh?
Do you know when you're going to die?
No, but I am not going to heaven or hell. I don't have to worry
No,
about
but
my
can you?
sins.
But can you guarantee that you'll even wake up tomorrow morning?
No, but I'm not gonna
Then this is urgent.
become
This
a
is urgent
Christian.
for you not to put this off for 50 years. This is something you should really investigate even this very night, because you may not have tomorrow. And
Yeah,
and
well,
if you but just wait, if you died today though without trusting that Jesus paid for your sin, then where would God have to send you?
hell. But
Yeah.
but I am not going to hell. I am not doing anything to go to hell.
I don't want you to go to hell.
There is no hell to go to. There is
You
nothing.
can't make that. You can't make that claim. But look, I don't want you to
but
spend.
You can't make it real
I don't
either.
want you to go to hell for even 10 seconds, let alone forever. And so
But I'm not
when
gonna.
should you start trusting that Jesus paid for your sin?
Never, because that's not happening.
Okay, but you know that if you died today, as you said, you're in hell forever. You don't want to go to hell, so when should you start trusting Jesus paid for your sin so you can go to heaven?
Literally, I am not going to do that because I do not believe in it. I don't understand why Christians like you, don't want other people to live their lives. They don't want other people to be able to have their own freedom to think their own way. You impress
I'll
your
tell you
own
why.
opinions
I'll tell you
onto
why.
other people.
I'll tell you why. If you were walking across the road and I saw a speeding car coming straight towards you, I would yell out saying, "Watch out, there's a car, move out the way, I don't want you to get hit." Now, you have the decision though what you do. You could choose to stand there and get hit by that car, or you could run out of the way. I'm that person right now telling you you're heading towards hell because you sinned, just like I was heading there too. But there is a way to avoid it if you trust that Jesus paid for your sin. Now, it's up to you what you do. I'm not forcing you to believe, but you can choose to reject this all you want, but it's going to be no skin off my back, but it's going to be skin off your back. It's going to be eternal suffering for you. I'm hoping that you'll consider this tonight.
I actually will not be doing that, but good try. But
Then at least you know you're
own
rejecting it, not because of a rational reason, but a selfish reason. You don't
It's
want to
not
find out
selfish
what's
at all,
true.
actually. It's just that I want other people to live their lives, and I don't want to be judgmental and say, you're going to hell because you don't believe in Jesus. Like, no, that's not. I let everybody live, and I let everybody do their own thing. I'm not racist. I'm not homophobic. I don't say people who are
But
gay
you're not perfect.
go to hell. I don't say anything. I'm not saying because you curse, you go to hell. Like, that's what you're doing. You don't want to let other people live. You want them to live by your rules.
And I think you say this because you want to live however you want to live. That's what it boils down to. Can I encourage you, check out this website, needgod.net. It's got a bit more information. If you've got any questions you think of, you can ask on that website too. But I'm hoping this is a big wake-up call for you. I've talked to people.
I promise it is not.
Listen. I've talked to people in a similar situation that you've been in, and same response. And then I found them. They found me 6 months later and said, "I hated what you said on that day, but guess what? Now I'm a Christian." And so I'm hoping that's going to happen to you.
I give you my word.
You can't know. You can't know that this is. I'm hoping this is going to stick on your mind so much that you won't be able to think about anything else until you've trusted that Jesus paid for your sin.
That is not true. I will actually be thinking about many other things later, even saying some curse words.
Well then, better check out the that website though, needgod.net. Thanks. Thanks so much for the conversation. All right.
I don't need God, so I'm not gonna look at
Yeah.
it. But you do you.
All right. Have a great night. Catch you later.
You too. Bye.